Hello and welcome to Fit News. I'm your host, Jen Shaver, and joining me today is a special return guest. Aisha Tahir is back to join us and to chat more about posture. She is a highly rated motivational speaker with 10 years of experience as an exercise physiologist, speaker, author, wellness consultant, and a group facilitator. She has a master's in exercise physiology and human movement science, a bachelor's in computer science. She's also a USA track and field coach, AFFA certified group instructor, a NASM certified personal trainer and nutrition coach, and also a NASM corrective exercise specialist. Welcome back.
Oh, it's so good to be back. I am so glad that we're here again.
Yes.
I enjoyed our conversation last time, so thanks for having me here.
Yes, well, I'm excited to have you back because we know that your book, Unhunched, is getting ready to launch and be out in the world for all to read. And that is so exciting. We can't wait to read it.
I can't wait to share it with the world.
Yeah.
It's been a process and a learning process in many ways, but it's literally in the final stage now, in the final leg. And it's almost like I just ran a marathon, and I know that you're a marathon runner, so you can relate.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Like those last few moments are tough, but at the same
Mhm.
time, you have that excitement going that you're close to the
The
finish
end
line.
is near. Yep.
So I'm like in the 400 meters, like the last 400 meters.
The end is definitely near then. Oh, well, thank you so much for joining us again. I'm excited to chat some more. Because there's so much to chat about when we are talking about posture. And we know that May is not only Mental Health Awareness Month, but it's also International Posture Month, correct?
It is the International Posture Month. And I was just pleasantly surprised that my book launch was falling in May.
Yes.
And it turned out to be a posture month too. Yeah, because they're
Right.
both related to each other as
And
well.
I think a lot of people would not put those two things necessarily together. So how do they come together?
Yeah. So we know that, our bodies feed our mind, right? In many different ways,
Right.
right? The words you speak, the way we have a persona, as people would call it.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that is, encapsulating that persona? What is
Yeah.
it that's uh, giving that perception of you as a person to the other person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we look deeper into it, it becomes very simple that both of them are connected because the way you sit and stand or walk is your posture, and how you hold your body up or down is going to activate different centers in your brain.
Yeah.
And it's going to either empower you, make you more confident, like have
Right.
more self-confidence, self-esteem, higher self-worth. We are talking about higher self-efficacy. Or it could go the other way around, where you have a closed posture and the person you're talking to, or the team that you're working with, is like, oh, I'm really not so sure if this person has confidence, right?
Right.
Um,
Right.
so that's how they're connected. And then it also pours into our energy and our mood if we look at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we are happy, what do? Like, we have our arms up, we have open posture, we're moving, we move like almost like, dance kind of moves, whatever
Yes.
that movement looks like, because that shows that, oh, we are so exhilarated.
Right.
However, on the other hand, if you look at somebody who's not happy or who's depressed or anxious, what
Mm-hmm.
do we see? They have a closed posture. And when I say closed posture, those of you who are listening to this podcast, I am demonstrating on the screen, is that we have our chin dropped to our chest, we have our
Mm-hmm.
shoulders rounded. So we're really closing our heart region up. And
Yes.
our heart is our center of energy, right? So now when we're closing that energy center, what is going to happen? You're not going to feel good. You're not going to
Mhm.
move more. Now you're going to be sedentary just because of this ripple effect that we are creating in our bodies, right?
Right,
You're not going to be motivated to move more.
right,
And we know both as exercise professionals that movement is movement is medicine. Movement is key to wellness.
right,
Um, Not only physical though, the mental too. So
right.
there are many connections. There are many connections that go on. And one of the other things that happens, and I bring it in my book, is how when we have a closed posture, which is a hunched over posture,
Mm-hmm.
we see many desk bound professionals nowadays assuming because we are sitting for longer hours,
Right.
is that our oxygen flow becomes inefficient. So we are not able to breathe as efficiently as we would if we had an open posture. And when I say that is because our lungs are compressed, and then there's a special respiratory organ right under our lungs, which is the diaphragm,
Yeah.
which is a very important organ because if it can't expand in
Mm-hmm.
the three-dimensional directions that it has to expand when we are breathing,
Right.
um, it it doesn't allow the full oxygen to flow into our body. And now that oxygen is not going to flow to our muscles, not to
Right.
our brain, we lose focus.
Right.
We have less focus then. We have more anxiety then, and then our mood is not going to be good, of course, because we are not productive. We are always running behind in our work. We are feeling our perception of the task in front of us or the situation in front of us
Mm-hmm.
becomes even more stressful than it is supposed to be. So we are more stress reactive.
Mm-hmm.
So there are so many ways that, if you link posture to our physiology, you'll see that it really goes all here in our mental health.
Right. Right. And it's something that you probably wouldn't even think about, combining those two and understanding how they can work together, or, you know, can work against you if you're not having proper posture.
Yeah, if you're not mindful, if you're
Right.
not mindful.
Right.
And I think that a very big key to this puzzle is the fact that we're not moving as often anymore.
Right.
But if you look at our ancestors, just 100 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
we were moving, right? Even in the agricultural communities and civilizations today, you see that
Oh, yeah.
people are active. They're
Right.
active for at least 80% of the day.
Right.
And then, the 20% is where, they're resting and not and
Right.
inactive.
Right.
Now,
Well,
for
because
us,
people used to walk everywhere, right? And now you don't walk
exactly.
anywhere, except if you have a
Yeah.
dog, maybe you're walking the dog, but you might be hiring a dog walker.
Oh, I love it that you said what you said about the dog walker. Yes. I that's the thing. My clients love their pets
Yeah.
and they want to go and walk outside. They just don't have the time to do
Right.
it, right?
Yeah.
So you're so right. And not only walking, just if you think of the home chores,
Right.
right?
Well,
We're
yeah.
so we're so reliant on technology now for
Mm-hmm.
almost everything,
Yeah.
which means that when we are not moving, when we are not mobile, right?
Mm-hmm.
So immobility is creating this poor posture too. It is one of the reasons why we have this poor posture now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, that's the other thing, like you said, technology is doing so much more for us now that we are moving less. And we're
Yeah.
not doing as much. I mean, I can grab my phone right now and order my groceries. I can grab my phone and order dinner and it shows up. So I'm not having to go to the grocery store, walk around the store. I'm not having to be in the kitchen and moving around and doing this, that, and the other, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like we have to make a choice
Mhm.
of like, there has to be a balance.
Right. Right.
Technology gives us convenience, which is awesome. Convenience is awesome.
Right.
Um, I'm going to give you my own example because it's just so relevant. But as I was writing the book, there were months when the workload was very intense, right?
Right. Oh,
And
for sure.
I couldn't go to the grocery store
Right.
to get my groceries, and I had to order online. Even
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I had to order the dinner through DoorDash online, right?
Right.
Now that's okay. Temporarily,
Yes.
it's okay.
Yes.
But since I have, finished the editing phase of my book, I've come out of it. We are back to normal. I go to do the grocery shopping.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's healthy for all of us, not just for me, but for the rest of my family to do that,
Right.
to be involved.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so just knowing that you have those options.
Yes. But not relying on them all the time, using them right in the right situation. And I think so often
Exactly.
as we get stuck and we get into the habit of, well, I'll just use this, and then we just forget that we can do these on our own. Right? Now, are there times when we need to use that technology? Of course, just like you mentioned. Of course. Thank goodness it's there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so true. And when we lose the movement, I'm gonna just, tie
Mm-hmm.
all
Oh, yeah.
back to the mental health. When
Yeah.
we're not moving, we are creating all sorts of these cascading issues
Mm-hmm.
for for our emotional health, for our mental health, and not just for our health. I feel like it's also of the people around us,
Right.
people we work with,
Mm-hmm.
people who live with us, people who love us.
Yeah.
So if we just look at that, I mean, making movement and move and then posture because of the movement, it becomes so much more important to take care of your mental health.
Yeah.
And movement is a vehicle, and then posture becomes a vehicle towards better mental health.
Right. Right. Yeah. It all works together because, our health is not one dimensional, right? It's multifaceted and it requires us to take care of, our diet, our exercise, our mental health, our stress load, our posture. It's all of these things. And sometimes that might feel a little overwhelming, but what we need to understand is it doesn't have to be overwhelming because it doesn't have to be this big thing, right? When it comes to posture, it's just being, as you mentioned, mindful. How am I standing? How am I presenting myself, right?
Yeah.
That didn't take me any extra time to just be mindful, take a
Yeah.
quick check-in, right? And it's
Yeah.
simple things like that throughout our day.
Yeah, yeah, and it doesn't take a lot.
Right.
That's exactly right. I
Yeah.
think a lot of my clients would come to me and they would tell me, but once I tell them like what the proper alignment is,
Mm-hmm.
they would be like, "Oh, but that feels so unnatural to us."
Mm-hmm.
And my answer to them is that it has taken us so many years to create these muscle imbalances,
Yeah.
and now your body has a new normal, which
Uh-huh.
isn't
Right.
efficient, isn't optimal for your health, but it has a new normal because our muscles are almost like Play-Doh, right? So
Mm-hmm.
whatever mold you're going to put your muscles into, that's the shape they're going to assume. Now your muscles have assumed these rounded shoulder position or forward head position or your anterior pelvic tilt when we see it. All of this, it's going to take some time to come out of it, but the key is to start somewhere and then
Right.
start small. It doesn't take a lot. Just like you said,
Yeah.
it is so much simpler than what people, or in some ways the marketing and the media has made it.
Right.
Right? Because it's not difficult.
Yeah.
All I ask for the desk-bound professionals and office workers, especially, but it could be, even other people like seniors who are at home and
Right.
not moving a lot or are unable to move a lot, um, is that take 3 minutes out every hour
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
and change your position. That's it.
Yeah.
If you could take 3 minutes out, let's say you are taking a break to go grab yourself a cup of water, right? Or a
Mm-hmm.
cup of tea or coffee. Take a couple of extra rounds around the home.
Right.
Walk, walk,
Right.
or if you're at office, walk in your hallway,
Right.
2 or 3 extra rounds, right? Laps. Once you do those laps, you're going to feel better. Not only
Yeah.
that, you're going to come back refreshed to your workstation
And
or
able to focus more.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. And now you've gotten the movement. So most of my clients work 10-hour days,
Yeah.
mostly because that's the reality, because we have to,
Right.
stay extra hours on average if you see all throughout the week.
Mhm.
And if they take 3 minutes every hour, right? We're
Right.
talking about 3 minutes every hour, multiply that by 10, that's 30 minutes of movement within your day, which is the minimum required by a Surgeon General,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
There you go.
There you go.
You don't have to go to the gym, right?
Right.
If you want to, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But you don't have to.
Yeah.
I know you have home or virtual workouts, right?
Mhm. Right.
I tell people, okay, pick a video that Jen is hosting and keep it on your computer.
Right.
Every hour, 3 minutes, do a set of Jen's video
Right. Yeah,
and then
that's a
go
great
back to
idea.
work,
Right.
right?
Yep.
So in my book, I go over how you can set up a desk station, I call it, like a desk
Oh,
workout station.
right.
So I keep my resistance band and a set of medium dumbbells and yoga mat right next to me.
Nice.
When I see it,
Uh-huh.
I am motivated to take that break,
Right. Right.
right? So
And plus,
it's
you've just
simple.
made it
It's
a lot easier
easy.
because it's right there. You don't have to go anywhere else to get the equipment or whatever it is that you need. It's right next to you. It's sitting out and it's calling your name, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's simple. It really
Yeah.
is so much more simpler than we have made it.
Right, right. Because I think especially for women of our generation, we have been conditioned to think that our exercise has to be a class that is an hour long, and we have to go to that class in the gym, right? We have to get really sweaty and really sore in order for it to be considered a workout, right?
Yeah, yeah. And it
And I think
doesn't
that
have
has
to
been a
be.
real detriment because then people think, well, I don't have time for that. So clearly I don't have time for exercise.
So true. So true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just hit the nail in the head
Yeah.
right there, because it's so true. So true. It is a generational thing too,
Yeah.
that we are so conditioned to think of, okay, we can only work out or we can only get enough movement if we have 30 minutes a day
Mhm.
for that Peloton ride,
Right.
or if we have an hour to go to the gym. And now going to the gym means that you also have to account for driving to the gym, which
Right.
I tell my clients, okay, if you can do it easily, go for it. I am a big
Yeah.
proponent of
Mhm.
health clubs and gyms,
Right.
but I know that most of the people can't do it at
Right.
this time. Then we have solutions for you.
Right.
Make it easier for
Mhm.
yourself. There are virtual workout libraries just like yours.
Mhm.
There are there's tons of resources.
Right.
Just, getting out of that mindset is also
Yeah. And
important.
that's just it. It's shifting that mindset of it has to be this, right? From
Yeah.
I can do this, 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 or this. I have options, and understanding those options and understanding that it's okay to have those options and that they quote unquote count, right?
Oh, they count. They count.
Yeah.
Some of my, so I have a framework in my book and it's
Mhm.
called BRACE. It's breathing, relaxation, which could be meditation or quiet time, activity, which is movement, and then corrective exercises for posture.
Oh, nice.
And I have a full week plan made out in my book, which people can follow. And some of those 3 minute posture breaks are just quiet time where you're removing yourself from technology, any kind of noise and
Mhm.
stimulation. And my clients practice that and they come back to me and they're like, we feel like a new person.
Right.
Again, it could be just breathing, like the diaphragmatic breathing exercise,
Yes.
where you're actually expanding your diaphragm all the way through. Because when you do that, you're massaging your spine.
Yeah.
Because when our diaphragm can't expand in all three dimensions,
Mhm.
what happens is that it doesn't hit the spine every time.
Oh.
And we breathe 22,000 times a day, and we get 22,000, yes, breaths. We take 22,000
Wow.
breaths, and we get 22,000 chances
Yeah.
to have a better posture, to relax,
Mhm.
because when you have a full breath, all of a sudden you feel relaxed. Why?
Right.
Because your parasympathetic nervous system is active,
Yes.
which is your
Yes.
Zen house
Right.
of your body. So you're going to be relaxed, right?
Mhm.
After that, 3 minutes. It takes 3 minutes.
Yeah. And going back to that and the parasympathetic nerve system, the deep breathing, the relaxation, as you said, for 3 minutes is such an underrated tool, but I believe that it is the most underused tool, that is the most necessary tool, almost more so sometimes for some people than the movement aspect, because they are so overworked, they're so stressed out, burnt out, and they don't know how to calm the nervous system. And that's what's creating more health issues for them.
Yeah. You're so right about that. That it is we are on a hamster wheel, I like to
Right.
call it, right?
Right. Yep.
Where we are stressed. There are emails from the boss and our coworkers, and then we have our family to take care of when we come home, or even at work, we're getting text messages. So we're getting bombarded by these to-do things we have to take care of,
Right.
right?
Yep.
Especially as women, right?
Yeah.
Job of a mom
Right.
is
So then
it's
that's
tough.
why so many women feel like they can't take this 3 minutes, right? Because
Yes.
it's just considered lazy time or a waste of time.
Yeah, but if they do, and when they do, most of my clients, when they do, they come back and tell me like how much more productive they were in the next 2
Exactly.
hours,
Yes.
and they didn't feel anxious anymore.
Yep. Yep.
And that's the thing. Let's talk about a little bit about the physiology of it, if you would like
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens is that when we are not taking full breaths,
Mhm.
one of the other things that's happening is combined with the work stress. So now we're not taking full breaths, our oxygen levels are not optimal in our
Right.
body. Along with that, we are facing this work stress. So our perception of that stress rises. And I think I mentioned that before.
Mhm.
But why does it rise? So we see that people who are office workers, especially when we are working or when we have this hunched over posture,
Mhm.
we have our heart rate increases, our breathing rate doubles.
Wow.
When breathing rate doubles, it's not a good thing because
Right.
you're
No.
taking shallow breaths. We are
Mhm.
taking short, shallow breaths. They're stopping right here in our chest.
Right.
If someone was exercising and their breathing rate doubled, that is a different thing.
Right.
So this is a totally different
Right. This is
phenomenon. We are
throughout
under
your
stress.
day. Yeah.
Yes, we are under stress. And then we also realize that the blood pressure increases,
Mhm.
rises for those people, and our muscles become tense. So all these symptoms are the symptoms of fight and flight response.
Right.
And fight and flight is when your body is detecting it, your brain is detecting a threat,
Mhm.
because your brain is like, oh, there's a saber-toothed tiger in front of me. Now I need to get ready. I need to get this system ready to either fight this animal or I have to run away because this is our survival mechanism, right?
Yeah.
But of course, that saber-toothed tiger is this email sitting in our inbox.
Yeah.
And it's all imaginary because you have been going back and forth with your coworker and there's something that's missing in the communication. And now with this fight or flight response, your stress becomes heightened. Your
Mhm.
cortisol levels are so high in your bloodstream, right?
Yeah.
That it's a very small thing that you can take care of, small task, right?
Right.
Small communication error you can take care of. But no, our brain and body is perceiving it's such a huge thing. It's as big as a saber-toothed tiger.
Right.
And because of that, we get stressed. So we are stress reactive.
Mm-hmm.
And that stress reaction is creating this almost emotional trauma for us within us.
Right.
So that's
And
how
it's
our
and it's
mental
constant.
health. Yes,
Yeah.
it is constant. And the study they did on the office workers was that they found out, I'm completely forgetting where the study was performed, but what they found out was that the office workers weren't aware of it.
Right.
Yeah, so they put the trackers on their body, on their
Mm-hmm.
hands, while they were typing. So they were all holding this low-level muscle tension in their
Mm-hmm.
body.
Yeah.
And this muscle tension was now translating into a full fight or flight response, but physiologically. But when they were asked, "Oh, how were you feeling when you were working?" or "How were you feeling when you saw that message on the screen and you had to respond to the email?" And the office workers were like, "Well, we thought we were fine. We were relaxed. There was nothing, there was nothing out of normal for us."
Right.
But when we look at the numbers, the physiologic numbers, we
Mm-hmm.
see everything was going wrong because the cortisol levels were so high.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's daily. I mean, and you're encountering this day after day after day after day.
Yes.
And it's building, 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 building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's the solution? 3 minutes.
Right.
Take a reset. You need
Yes.
to reset yourself for 3 minutes. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Reset. Yeah. Now that the weather is nice, go out for a 3 to 5 minute walk.
Right.
Come back, look at the greenery, come back inside if you're working from home or even
Right.
at the office, right? Come back to the situation. You will break that stress cycle. The
Yep.
thing is,
And
you're
that's just
exactly
it.
right. We are not breaking that stress
Right.
cycle.
Right.
And when you're not excuse me, actually you're not completing the stress cycle. So
Mm-hmm.
the fight or flight ideally would be complete when we relax. So
Right.
there was a danger, we took care of it, we ran away from it, we relaxed, the cortisol levels go down, our
Right.
heart rate drops, our blood pressure drops, now we are breathing optimally, everything is fine, right?
Right.
But of course that's not happening in our
No.
lives. Yeah.
Yeah. 3 simple minutes, right?
That's it. Three minutes. Just reset, whatever it takes. Maybe it's movement, maybe it's 5 squats, maybe it's a mini workout, virtual workout, maybe it's stepping outside.
Right.
Maybe it's just breathing at
Yeah.
your desk.
Right. Yeah. Turning away from the computer.
Yeah.
Turning away from your phone, grounding your feet.
Yeah.
Closing your eyes and just some box breathing, right? I mean, for 3 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Box breathing, alternate nostril breathing. Those are all in my book. And I have videos up on YouTube too, so people can watch it. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
What is your hope for your book?
My hope is that people who are working long hours with technology and sitting behind their desks, and they are, at the end of the day, when they get up from their chair, they are tense and they're fatigued. Some of my clients would come to me that, "Hey, Aisha, you know what? I mean, we feel like we are healthy otherwise, but at the end of the day, we are fatigued and we didn't do anything. Like we didn't do anything physically. We didn't go and worked out, or we didn't go and for a 5 mile run. But when we get up, that's how we feel."
Yeah.
Right. So my hope is that all those professionals, when they read this book, they are more aware of their posture. And posture encapsulates your breathing, how much stress you're taking at work, and how you can relax. And how much are you moving, right? And then I want people to know how to set up their workstation properly, to vary the movement, sitting position during the day. You can sit or stand. Standing desks are awesome, but just standing 12 hours a day is not the answer either.
Right.
because you're going to develop plantar fasciitis. Take it
Yeah.
from me. So, just having those simple tips in the back of their mind
Hmm.
and knowing that the solution is only 3 minutes every hour
Yeah.
and just embracing it. Even if you can't do it every hour, maybe you can do it every 2 hours.
Right.
But embracing your well-being,
Hmm.
understanding that all it takes is like small steps as much. So that's what my hope is, that it serves as a North Star
Yeah.
for the whole body mind wellness of office professionals.
Good. Well, we are excited to read it. Where can we find this book when it comes out, Aisha?
Yeah, so the book is going to be on Amazon
Hmm.
and all the major retailers, online retailers, Barnes and
Okay.
Nobles. But if people want just one-stop shop, they can
Yeah.
go on my website. It's Aisha Tahir, and let me spell that for
Okay.
you. AESHATAHIR.com/books. So all the resources are there for anyone who is looking for relieving that tightness and fatigue in their upper body, especially like upper bodies. We are notorious for the upper body tension.
Hmm.
Shoulders
Yeah.
climb up, right?
Right.
Shoulders are rounded
Yeah.
because we are always trying to get a better look at our screens. For that, the YouTube videos are on my Tone and Strengthen channel, but they're connected to the books page.
Okay.
So it's aishatahir.com/books.
Okay, great. Well, we appreciate you coming back and joining us again, Aisha, and we look forward to the release of your book, Unhunched, very soon. And thank you so much for joining us today on Fit News.
Thanks for having me, Jen.
Thank you for listening. We'll catch you next time.